Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Ashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 16. The Lord's attempt to go to Vrindavan, text 65 onwards. So Mahaprabhu is asking everybody, especially Nityanand Prabhu, to do not come to Jagannath Puri every year. Stay in Bengal and preach. So further he says, Taha siddhi kare he na anye na dekhi amar dushkar karm toma haite hai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, you can perform a task that even I cannot do. But for you, I cannot find anyone in Gaudadesh who can fulfill my mission there. Lord Chaitanya's mission is to deliver the fallen souls of this age. In this age of Kali, practically 10% of the population is fallen. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu certainly delivered many fallen souls, but his disciples mainly came from the upper classes. For example, he delivered Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and many others who were socially elevated, but fallen from the spiritual point of view. Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis were situated in government service, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was the topmost scholar of India. Similarly, Prakashanand Saraswati was the leader of many thousands of Mayavadi sannyasis. It was Srila Nityanand Prabhu, however, who delivered persons like Jagai and Madhai. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya says, Amara Dushkar Karma Toma Haite Hai. Jagai and Madhai were delivered solely by Nityanand Prabhu's mercy. When they injured Nityanand Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya became angry and decided to kill them with the Sudarshan Chakra. But Nityanand Prabhu saved them from the Lord's wrath and delivered them. In the incarnation of God Nitai, the Lord is not supposed to kill demons, but is supposed to deliver them by preaching Krishna consciousness. In the case of Jagai and Madhai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so angry that he would have immediately killed them. But Nityanand Prabhu was so kind that he not only saved them from death, but elevated them to the transcendental position. Thus, what was not possible for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was carried out by Nityananda. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that without his mercy, nothing is possible. But still, his main point is that Nityananda Prabhu and so many other devotees, they should not come every year, but they should stay back and preach. Similarly, if one is true to Gaur Nitai's service in the disciplic succession, he can even excel Nityananda Prabhu's service. This is the process of disciplic succession. Nityananda Prabhu delivered Jagai and Madhai, but a servant of Nityananda Prabhu, by his grace, can deliver many thousands of Jagais and Madhais. And this is exactly what Srila Prabhupada did. Nityananda Prabhu preached in Bengal, some Odisha and Bengal. But Prabhupada preached all over the world and converted or transformed the hearts of so many Jagais and Madhais all over the world, not just in Bengal, all over the world. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj preached all over India, but he could not preach outside India. So Prabhupada preached not only in India, but outside India, all over the world. And of course, as Prabhupada said, by his mercy, he delivered many, and he's still doing so by his books, by his movement, by his disciples, by his followers. That is the special benediction of the disciplic succession. One who is situated in the disciplic succession can be understood by the result of his activities. This is always true as far as activities of the Lord and his devotees are concerned. Before Lord Shiva says, Aradhanam sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam param tasmat paratram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. Of all types of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is best. And better than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his devotee, the Vishnu. So by the grace of Vishnu, a Vaishnav can render better service than Vishnu. That is a special prerogative of a Vaishnav. But a devotee understands, or he has to know, it's only by the grace of Lord Vishnu. Not on his own, he is doing anything. The Lord actually wants to see his servants work more gloriously than himself. For instance, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Shri Krishna provoked Arjuna to fight because all the warriors on the battlefield were to die by Krishna's plan. Krishna himself did not want to take the credit. Rather, he wanted Arjuna to take credit. Therefore, he asked him to fight and win fame. That's what Krishna said. Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory, conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They already put to death by my arrangement. And you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Nimitta matra of Sabyasachi. So this is also what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants, us to get the credit. First he wanted Prabhupada to get the credit. Because it is already mentioned by Acharyas that Mahaprabhu's name will be sung all over the world, in every town and village. Nagaradigram, Sarvatra Prachar, Hoibe Mana. Mahaprabhu said that. So Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. What's so difficult for him to do it? But he didn't do it. He left it for first Prabhupada to do it, and then through his movement to do it further. So Prabhupada gets the credit. Prabhupada's followers get the credit. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives credit to a devotee who performs any heavy task perfectly. Hanumanji or Vajrangji, the servant of Lord Ramchandra, serves as another example. It was Hanumanji who jumped over the sea in one leap and reached the shore of Lanka from the shore of Bharatvarsha. When Lord Ramchandra chose to go there, he paved the way with stones. Although by his will, the stones were able to float on the sea. If we simply follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions and follow in the footsteps of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, this Krishna consciousness movement can advance, and even more difficult tasks can be performed by the preachers remaining faithful to the service of the Lord. So that's all is the expectation of Prabhupada from us, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from his followers. Just preach, preach, preach. Just give the message out to everyone. Nityananda kahe ami deha tumi prana, deha prana bhinna nahe ita brahma. Nityananda Prabhu replied, O Lord, you are the life and I am the body. There is no difference between the body and life itself. But life is more important than the body. Achintya shaktya tumi tahara ghatam, ye karaha sai kari nahi kaniya. By your inconceivable energy, you can do whatever you like and whatever you make me do. I do without restriction. As stated in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavai. Lord Brahma is the first living creature within this universe, and he is also the creator of this universe. How is this possible? So he is the first living creature and he is the creator. So although he is the first living entity, Lord Brahma is not in the category of Vishnu Tattva. Rather, he is part of the Jiva Tattva. Nonetheless, by the grace of the Lord, who instructed him through the heart, Tene Brahma Hridaya, Lord Brahma could create a huge universe. Of course, he didn't create the universe, he created the um, rest of the elements within the universe. But he could do so by the instructions given to him through his heart. Those who are actually pure devotees of the Lord are instructed by the Lord through the heart, where the Lord is always situated. Ishvara sarva bhutan, hrideshe arjam tishtati. If he follows the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the living entity, even though an insignificant creature, can perform the most difficult tasks by the Lord's grace. Lord Krishna confirms this in the Bhagavad Gita. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajtam pritipurvak. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can count me. So everything is possible for a pure devotee because he acts under the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Through his inconceivable energy, a pure devotee can perform tasks that are supposed to be very, very difficult. He can perform tasks not even previously performed by the Lord himself. Therefore, Nityananda Prabhu told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ye kara sahi kari nahi karniya. I do not know by what regulative principle I am carrying out this wonderful work, but I know for certain that I'll do whatever you desire. Of course, Nityananda Prabhu is non-different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a way, but still, look at his humility, saying, I'm just doing it because you want me to do. Although the Lord wants to give all credit to his devotee, the devotee himself never takes credit, for he acts only under the Lord's direction. Consequently, all credit goes to the Lord. This is the nature of the relationship between the Lord and his devotee. The Lord wants to give all credit to his servant, but the servant does not take any credit, for he knows that everything is carried out by the Lord. Tare viday dila Prabhu kari alingana, ei mata viday dila sava bhaktigan. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Nityananda Prabhu and bade him farewell. He then bade farewell to all the other devotees. Kulin grami purvat kaila nivedan, Prabhu agya kara, amar kartavya sadham. As in the previous year, one of the inhabitants of Kulin Gram submitted a petition to the Lord, saying, My Lord, kindly tell me what my duty is and how I should execute it. Prabhu kehe Vaishnav Seva, Nama Sankirtan, Dui Kara Shigra Pabe Shri Krishna Charan. The Lord replied, You should engage yourself in the service of the servants of Krishna and always chant the holy names of Krishna. If you do these two things, you will very soon attain shelter at Krishna's lotus feet. Teho kahe ke Vaishnav, ki tare lakshan, tabe hasi kahe Prabhu, jani tare man. The inhabitant of Kulingram said, Please let me know who is actually a Vaishnav and what his symptoms are. Understanding his mind, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and gave the following reply. So previous year, as we studied, Mahaprabhu said, anybody who has once even chanted the name of Krishna, you should respect. Now, going a step further, because Mahaprabhu said, do Vaishnava Seva and Krishna Nam. So, Kulin Gramvasi says, oh, how do we know who is a Vaishnava and what his symptoms are? So Mahaprabhu said, Krishna Nama Nirantar Jaharavadane, Sei Vaishnava Shrestha Bhaja Tahara Charane. A person who is always chanting the holy name of the Lord is to be considered a first-class Vaishnava, and your duty is to serve his lotus feet. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that any Vaishnava who is constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord should be considered to have attained the second platform of Vaishnavism. Means Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. So he has attained Madhyam Adhikari platform. Such a devotee is superior to a neophyte Vaishnava who has just learned to chant the holy name of the Lord. A neophyte devotee simply tries to chant the holy name, whereas advanced devotee is accustomed to chanting and takes pleasure in it. Such an advanced devotee is called a Madhyam Bhagavat, which indicates that he has attained the intermediate stage between the neophyte and the perfect devotee. Generally, a devotee in the intermediate stage becomes a preacher. A neophyte devotee or an ordinary person should worship the Madhyam Bhagavat, who is a via medium. So, via medium. Worship the Madhyam Bhagavat or respect him. Via medium means he's the person, he's a preacher, so he is getting the instructions of the Lord, giving to the people he's preaching to, getting the mercy of the Lord and giving them to the people he's preaching to. In return, he is from the people he's preaching to, he's getting their prayers and forwarding them to the Lord. So via medium. And via medium should also be transparent. Means he should not add or subtract anything. Not have any ulterior motives, and understand that he is just a servant of the Lord and his predecessor acharyas. In his Updeshamrit, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Pranat Pranatabhish cha bhajantam isham. This means that Madhyam Adhikari devotees should exchange obeisances between themselves. The word nirantar meaning without cessation, continuously, constantly. It's very important in this verse. The word antar means interval. If one has desires other than a desire to perform devotional service, in other words, if one sometimes engages in devotional service and sometimes strives for sense gratification, his service will be interrupted. A pure devotee, therefore, should have no desire other than to serve Krishna. But sometimes strives for sense gratification. I mean, okay, some part I do bhakti and some part, because those tendencies are still there. What to do? Slowly, slowly they'll go away. But the sense gratification, now that is, to understand it, there could be gross sense gratification, there could be subtle sense gratification. Gross one we can stop, but subtle, it's very difficult. That is where the problem is. So that's where we have to be very careful. He should be above fruitive activity and speculative knowledge. In his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Anya abhilashita shunyam, jnana karmadi anavritam, anukulena krishnanu shilanam piruttam. This is the platform of pure devotional service. One should not be motivated by fruitive activity or mental speculation, but should simply serve Krishna favorably. That is first-class devotion. Another meaning of antar is this body. So, nirantar, always. So, antar means body, and antar also means interval. So, Prabhupada said interval he explained. So, without an interval means always. And another meaning of antar is this body. The body is an impediment to self-realization because it is always engaged in sense gratification. Similarly, antar means money. Of course, body is an impediment, but at the same time, it is a tool. That is what we have, by which we can make progress spiritually. But at the same time, more we make progress in bhakti, more our bodily requirements go down. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, they all go down. Similarly, antar means money. If money is not used in Krishna's service, it's also an impediment. Antar also means janata or followers, people in general. The association of ordinary persons may destroy the principles of devotional service. Similarly, antar may mean greed to acquire more money or enjoy more sense gratification. Finally, the word antar may also mean atheistic ideas, by which one considers the temple deity to be made of stone, wood, or gold, or metal. So all of these are impediments. The deity in the temple is not material. He is a supreme personality of Godhead himself. Similarly, considering the spiritual master an ordinary human being, Guru Shurnaramati, is also an impediment. Nor should one consider a Vaishnava a member of a particular class, a particular caste or nation. Nor should a Vaishnava be considered material. Charanamrit should not be considered ordinary drinking water, and the holy name of the Lord should not be considered an ordinary sound vibration. Nor should one look on Lord Krishna as an ordinary human being, for he is the origin of all Vishnu Tattvas. Nor should one regard the Supreme Lord as a demigod. Intermingling the spiritual and the material causes one to look on transcendence as material and the mundane as spiritual. This is all due to a poor fund of knowledge. One should not consider Lord Vishnu and things related to him as being different. All this is offensive. So Nirantar means without all this. So then one can make progress very swiftly. In the Bhakti Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami writes, in the verse beginning, Namekam Yasya, we find the word Pashanda, godlessness. The word literally indicates misuse of one's body or property. But in that verse, it implies 10 offenses against the Lord's holy name, since each of these leads to such godless behavior. So, long purport. So this is what Mahaprabhu is saying. One who is always chanting the holy names of the Lord and without all these concepts should be respected. The Mayavadis look on Vishnu and Vaishnavas imperfectly due to their poor fund of knowledge, and this is condemned. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the intermediate Vaishnava is described as follows: Ishvare tadadineshu balisheshu dushyatsucha. The intermediate Vaishnava has to love God, make friends with the devotees, instruct the innocent, and reject jealous people. These are the 4 functions of the Vaishnava in the intermediate stage. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Sanatana Goswami is taught, Shraddhavan jan hai bhakti adhikari, uttam madhyam kanishta shraddha nasari. One who is faithful is a proper candidate for devotion service. In terms of one's degree of faith and devotion service, one is a first class, second class, or neophyte Vaishnava. Shastra yukti nahi jane drila shraddhavan madhyam adhikari say mahabhagyavan. One who has attained the intermediate stage is not very advanced in Shastric knowledge, but he has firm faith in the Lord. Such a person is very fortunate to be situated on the intermediate platform. Rati prema taratmaye ye bhakti taratama. Attraction and love for God are the ultimate goal of devotional service. The degrees of such attraction and love distinguish the different stages of devotion: neophyte, intermediate, and perfectional. An intermediate devotee is greatly attracted to chanting the holy name, and by chanting, he is elevated to the platform of love. If one chants the holy name of the Lord with great attachment, he can understand his position as an eternal servant of the spiritual master, other Vaishnavas, and Krishna himself. Thus, the intermediate Vaishnava considers himself Krishna Das, Krishna's servant. He therefore preaches Krishna consciousness to innocent neophytes and stresses the importance of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. An intermediate devotee can identify the non-devotee or motivated devotee. The motivated devotee or the non-devotee are on the material plane, and they're called Prakrit. Prakrit for material or Kanishta. The intermediate devotee does not mix with such materialistic people. So motivated devotee means he has some ulterior motives, or the non-devotee. However, he understands that the Supreme Personality of Godhead and everything related to him are on the same transcendental platform. Actually, none of them are mundane. So these are the characteristics or symptoms of a Madhyam Adhikari or intermediate devotee. He is attached to chanting of the holy names and is always chanting. Might not have full faith in the scripture or full knowledge of the scriptures, but he wants to serve the Lord and the devotees, and he's constantly chanting. Chanting is so important. Okay, I guess I can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.